Hello, my friends. I appreciate you joining me today. I am J.R. Dukes with JRDukes.com. I have an interesting article that I think you will enjoy hearing about today. I do want to encourage you to stick around to the end of the video because this article that references a particular study has an extra, let's call it an extra bonus that you might find very interesting. At any rate, we've all had relationships before, and a lot of us are married, and a lot of us have been divorced. And of course, we all want to pick a good partner that will last a lifetime. We may be asking ourselves, how can we possibly maximize the benefit, or I should say, how can we possibly maximize our chances of staying together? BestLifeOnline.com, they had an article that I recently came across. The article is by a lady named Allie Hogan, and she writes an article, and it's kind of this interesting, maybe clickbaitish title, but I like it. The more money you spend on this, the more likely you are to get a divorce. So we're going to read through it briefly, and I want to make a couple points. It starts off, money is known to be a point of contention in relationships. Even when it's being put towards a good cause, research has found that if you're spending piles of money on your wedding, you're more likely to get a divorce. A 2014 study published in Social Science Research Network found that as the price tag for the wedding went up, the likelihood that a couple would stay together went down. I don't really find that surprising. It goes on, it gives some other percentages, but the main thing is what they're talking about here in this article. And again, I'm not really surprised by this. You may not be either. I think a lot of times today we worry too much about the wedding instead of actually being with the partner, being with the person that we want to be with. I know a lot of couples, especially young couples, they may literally go into debt concerning their wedding day or over their wedding day. And let's be honest about it, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would you spend 7, 10, 20, $30,000 on one evening? And worse, you don't have the money to do that. You have to go into debt. And trust me, folks, the number one thing people fight about in relationships is directly related to money or money problems. You do not want to start off a marriage with this type of stress, this type of debt. Let's get back to the article. It makes a few extra points. It says researchers found that for each jump in wedding price, the divorce rate shot up. Couples who spent $1,000 or less on their wedding were 53% less likely to get a divorce, while those who spent more, between $1,000 and $5,000, were 18% less likely to part ways. On the other hand of the spectrum, if a couple dropped $10,000 to $20,000 on their big day, the marriage was 29% more likely to end in divorce. That's crazy, but I'm not surprised. It says, and blowing over $20,000 on a wedding made couples 46% more likely to call it quits. Again, I'm not surprised to hear this. It says these numbers don't bode well for many Americans, as the average wedding cost, according to the Knot, is $33,900. And I think this is current as of 2020 on that particular statistic, which also includes the price of the engagement ring, according to this article. The study suggests that the financial burden that accompanies such extravagant weddings could be the cause of these splits. Beginning a marriage with money stress is a rocky foundation to build upon. Again, I don't know why we find that to be a surprise. I think that's very understandable. You are going to have a lot of problems in your marriage, in your life with your partner. You don't want to add extra stress by throwing all kinds of financial obligations on top of your relationship that you frankly don't have the money for. So trust me, don't do it, folks. You don't want to do that. The article goes on to talk about another interesting point here. It says, additionally, spending a significant chunk of money on a wedding can signal that one or both of the partners don't have their priorities straight. If a couple is focused only on materialistic or monetary aspect of things, it brings into question their values of one another and what they emotionally bring to the table and the relationship. Using a big extravagant party to show how great their relationship is often reflects that there might be more flaws than they're willing to admit. And this is cited by relationship expert Lauren Peacock, of the author of Female Like Cheese Comes with Dog. So you can check that out if you're interested. At any rate, folks, if you are contemplating on getting married and you don't have the cash on hand to actually pay for the wedding that you want, please do not go into debt. Please do not bring that type of stress on yourselves. And listen, I get it. We were all there one time. We were all young. We were all about to get married. We tell ourselves, hey, this is my special day. I only get one day in my lifetime, and I want it to be special. Hang on a second. I got choked up. Okay, I'm over it. Don't do that. Don't rationalize in your mind spending money that you don't have. Please don't do that. Please just have a wedding that you can afford. Now, as promised, I have a additional bonus that this survey has alluded to, and I think it's interesting. This study, and I appreciate you sticking around to the end, by the way. This is a fact I think you'll find interesting. According to this study, which I happen to agree with, it says, oddly enough, the study also found that larger weddings equated to a higher likelihood of the couple remaining married, where couples who had 1 to 10 people at their wedding were 35% less likely to divorce than those who just got married on their own, like a justice of the peace type wedding. The likelihood of divorce dropped as more guests were attracted, as more guests were tracked on the guest list. Pairs that invited 200 or more guests to their wedding were 92% less likely to divorce than couples that got married alone. So what does this basically tell us? What does this study allude to? Basically, this study is saying that if you want to have a long and happy marriage, number one, do not spend a lot on your wedding day. Only spend what you can afford. And it also basically tells us, have a lot of people at your wedding. So you want to have a cost-effective wedding, a cost-efficient wedding, something you can afford with all of your family and friends there to witness your big day. That is how you can stay married and happy, at least according to this study, which I happen to agree with. I'd be interested to know what your opinion is. What are your thoughts? Please take a second and list it in the comments below. I definitely would like to hear what you got to say, and I try to respond to all the comments. At any rate, if you're getting value out of today's video, I would sure appreciate it if you take a second, hit the thumbs up button, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything that I come out with in the future. I do appreciate joining me today. I want you to always remember to have a free mind and never give up. I am J.R. Dukes.